it's not going to be that interesting. The question is, how much sex is too much sex? In a literary sense, not in a physical manner. With children's books, it's pretty much non-existent, but there are a few examples of it being put in a slick way. And the major examples I can think of are Lady and the Tramp and the Aristocats. Basically, mommy and daddy, or future mommy and daddy, it's nighttime, they had a romantic evening, they share words of endearment, and then night comes, they spend the night together. We don't really see what happens. They either will like hold tails or hold hands or whatnot, and then the next day she's pregnant, just like real life. And when you get older, you realize, oh my god, Lady and the Tramp did that. With young adult books, it kind of varies depending on the writer. I'd say that Fade to Black annoys everyone, not because it can't be done well, just because it's kind of aggravating when you read a book. It starts off with this whole kind of love romance, and they're kissing, and they're having this intense passion, and then paragraph down, they're walking down the street to the bodega, you know, eating a sandwich, just kind of like, wait, what happened? If in young adult, because I know you're dealing with an audience that is there's a large range for young adult, I think the best balance that I've found, and the example I can think of is from Vampire Academy, when they actually had the love scene between Rose and Dimitri, is that each paragraph is kind of a description of not the physical but the emotional act. I mean, there's the whole they're taking off clothes, and you get little hints of that they're going through the process, but nothing is really put into depth. And I think that gives the reader a chance to create his or her own imagery while still not making it too vulgar for a younger audience and mature enough for the older audiences. Adults, it can go any way it really wants to, depending on if the story is about that or not. It can be in there, it cannot be in there, but that's the case for all novels. Teens, most of the time, sex plays a part, no matter how small or large it is. Adults, it's pretty much however you want it. It could start from it could be non-existent. There can be Fade to Black, the ambiguous sex I just talked about, the light description, which is a little bit more intense than what I described with the Dimitri Rose thing, and it could just be full out pornography. Don't really go in for the full pornography thing, because it can really be borderline just annoying after a while. Some people think, like, is there really such a thing as too much sex? I have proof that there is. I would like to introduce you all to the Sleeping Beauty trilogy by Anne Rice. This is an erotica trilogy, which I guess kind of makes it kind of an exception to the rule, but bear with me, there is a point to this. Now, when I was a young, innocent 14-year-old, I went to the library and took out Beauty's Punishment. And it is an S&M erotica to the purest sense of the meaning. I mean, every other page describes some activity of, you know, whipping and bondage, and there's a scene with a cat, and then these guys have to carry around having constant erections, and they have to have like this thing in their butt. It was very uncomfortable and warped and twisted, and it left me feeling very dirty for reading it, especially because I was 14, and it kind of was a very uncomfortable experience. But because there was so much of it, and it was always so intense, that at the end of the day I just felt kind of jaded. There was no like romantic or kind of arousal from it. It was more of like, wow, that was a lot. It was very weird. 3 years later I go out and I buy the entire trilogy. But the point of this is that there are little ways to see if when you write a sex in a novel, if it's too much. And most of these I can say, to do this you'll have to take a break and then read it later. Number one, you know it's too much when you feel it's uncomfortable to read, because when you read those kind of things, sometimes you can feel like you're reading someone's private fantasy. And that's very uncomfortable. Your reader to feel like they're reading your personal thoughts, your own personal sexual fantasies. And you don't want to put the sex in it so constantly that it becomes kind of awkward. Number two, if you really have no idea what the story or plot was about after you're reading it, you've really messed up, because the sex should just be as part of a book as anything else. You know, it should flow with the rest of the story. It shouldn't be like this one hook. It shouldn't be what makes people want to read your book. There should be more to it than just that scene. It can overpower the story and the plot and the characters. Like the Anita Blake series, it's come to the point where there is no more story. The third way you know it's too much is when it no longer is exciting. When you're reading a scene in this book, and it's like the 12th scene you've read, you really don't care anymore. It's no longer exciting to read, it just becomes just sex. It's like being married. You have to realize that there is a line between being erotic and just becoming pornography. When it comes to writing a sex scene in general, there are 4 things you have to keep in mind: people, place, position, and prose. These are the things that'll make it a hit or not. 1 is people. Why? We have to care. Why do we care that such and such and such and such are having sex? Why do we care? What is it about them? Have they have a building relationship? Is it just a one-night stand? Are we excited that they're going to be having it together? You have to build up the relationship between these 2 characters, especially if it's in a long-standing series and just going over a period of time. Why should we care about the sexual lives of characters we have no interest in? Number 2, place. Where is it happening? The bedroom, the parking lot, behind the dumpster truck, on a tower. You know, those are the things that make it stand out. In essence, all sex really is insert slot A into slot B. No matter where it is, it's one goes into the other. And you have to really use these 4 things to make it stand out beyond just that basic 1, 2, 3 method. And place is one of those things that gives it a little bit of a punch to it, you know. And it also shows you how the characters view their sexuality. You should use sex scenes to develop your characters as well, not just for a smut value. Number 3, of course, is position, as I said before, which is kind of as important as place. How they do it is just as important as where they do it. Because you can see someone's sexuality by what they're willing to go through and what they're not willing to do. Now, number 4 is prose, which I think, besides people, is the most important one, because bad prose can ruin sex. It will make it terrible, especially if you use certain kind of words. This is especially true in like historical, like romances, where they want to use kind of flowery language. It doesn't work all the time. And I have an example to show you. This is Mr. Darcy Takes a Wife, and this is the worst book I've ever read in my entire life. Partially because the prose is stupid. There's a part where Linda describes sex as the process of her nether regions being sacrificed to Venus. There's also a part where she refers to her vagina as a nani nani, and she refers to the penis as a laridoodle. This manly instrument will swell big and red and hard and enormous. And when he first put it up your nonny nonny, it will be with such force as to render your prostrate with ecstasy and pain. Please don't refer to your vagina as a nonny nonny. A penis should never be called a laridoodle.